Has 38 made it onto your list of possible places to purchase, whether to live full-time or to rent it out as an investment property and just visit the area when you want to? Stick around. This is the video for you. I'm going to go over my top 5 pros and cons of living on 38. I'm AJ BEDDOUK, your 38 real estate advisor with the luxury division of the Emerald Group right here on 38. All right, so the top pro for me for living on 38 is how all of 38 is essentially like an urban development, right? Obviously, some neighborhoods are going to feel more like this than others. Obviously, Seaside needs to absolutely get a mention here when it comes to urban development. However, all of 38 really, you've got a 20-mile stretch, so everything that you need is within this area, no matter which neighborhood you decide to go with. And when I say neighborhood, I'm talking not necessarily like small subdivision, but kind of areas. So, you know, your Dune Allen, Seaside, Alice Beach, Rosemary Beach, and everything in between. We're going to call those, you know, neighborhoods just for the sake of ease, essentially, for differentiating between the different areas along 30A. But as far as 38 in general, everything that you need is right here. So living here, vacationing here, very, very easy. So some of the amenities that you can come to love along 30A, whether you're visiting or living, is all the different activities that you can do. Obviously, you can go to the beach or you can go to the many parks. You've got a beach state park, or the Grayton Beach State Park, so a beach park essentially. And then you've also got camping, you've got off-roading availability, you've got golfing, just everything that you could possibly need or expect to see outdoors. You can get that in this area, which is crazy because you've got so many houses and, you know, fine dining and such all along 30A. You wouldn't think that you've also got access to huge open green areas, but you do. It's really amazing and really well thought out. Now, if you're not visiting and you're thinking, I'm going to live here full time, you're covered there as well. Everything that you typically need, you know, for your grocery shopping or your dining out, you know, because maybe you don't feel like cooking that day, your delivery options, you know, all of that is still here. You've got healthcare amenities. You've also got and fitness amenities as well. You know, you've got your gyms, your grocery stores, farmers markets, just absolutely everything is all right here. So you don't have to feel like, oh, well, you know, I don't know if I want to move to 38 because it's hugely known as a tourist destination. People live here too. There's even, you know, school here for school-age children. So whether you want to homeschool or send your child to school, you have those options. And there's actually a huge homeschooling community here in the area. If you have any questions about that, go ahead and give me a call, text, email, Facebook message, whatever. If you would, my editors, please go ahead. They're going to throw all of my contact information up on the screen for you so you can reach out in whatever way makes the most sense for you. And since I'm giving you all my contact information right now, I might as well go ahead and say thank you to all of my returning viewers, my subscribers. And if you are here for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so that you get notified every time I do another video. This will make you the subject matter expert on all of 30A. So whenever your friends ask you, what's 30A about? You'll have all the answers for them. Moving on to my second pro of living on 38. This is going to sound maybe a little bit cheesy, but it really is the beaches. And that might seem like a no-brainer, but just hear me out. So just the day before yesterday, I needed a lunch break. And I homeschool my daughter. She's going on 5. And so we're home a lot. I work a lot from my home office. And so I'm, you know, sending her, you know, little things to do so she can color or work on various things that I've got her studying, you know. But we needed a break. So we just took like an hour-and-a-half lunch break and went to the beach. It was no big deal. We just packed up a couple of things, went to the beach, and had an amazing time. We had some snacks, and it was the perfect thing to just break up our day with some beauty, some fresh air, some, you know, time to get her wiggles out, you know, and it just broke up the monotony of the day, really, with almost zero effort. And we're in, you know, one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, I would say. And just this morning, I was like, you know what? I think I would like to see the sunrise from the beach this morning. Thankfully, my daughter is a mini me, and so she was all about it. So we got up early and we went out to the beach and we watched the sunrise from the beach. She was like running along the water's edge, chasing the sandpipers and pointing out the holes in the sand for the crabs. You know, they like to come out during sunrise. It's super cool. If you haven't watched them, I highly recommend going and walking the beach in the morning and checking out all the crabs scurrying around. Pretty cool. So cheesy as it may sound, my top 2 pro has to be living on the beach. While I absolutely love being along 30A, sometimes business takes me elsewhere. I was just in Cancun last week on business. I know you guys are like, oh, really, AJ? You were on vacation. No, I really was on business. I was closing a deal from my phone in the air even. So hear me out. Sometimes I have to leave the area. So my top 3 pro of living on 38 is having quick access and proximity to airports, 98, Panama City Beach, Destin. This way, if I need to get out of the area quickly, I can do so, whether by plane or if I'm driving along 98 or just shooting up towards 10. You know, you have all of this ability to get out of the area very, very quickly if you need to. If you need to head into Destin because, you know, maybe the bar scene is your thing, or you want to head over to Panama City Beach because you want to do some super touristy stuff, you know, head over to Pier Park, you want a little change of flavor. You've got plenty of ability options and very minimal time to get out of 38, leave that, you know, 38 bubble and go into another area and then come right back. No big deal. A short Uber ride, really. You can get to either one of these within about 25 minutes either way, depending where on 30A you are. And it's not just you wanting to leave the area either. You know, when you come to 30A, all of a sudden everybody's your friend and they all want to come and visit you because you live on the beach. So if you want your friends to come and visit you, then this area is really great too because you have those airports right there so they can spend the day flying and then just have a short drive to actually get to you from the airport. So that's super convenient as well. Or maybe too convenient if you don't like folks to come visit too much. My 4th pro for living on 38 is the house value. Anytime I'm considering a purchase somewhere, I'm always looking at the value long term. What am I looking at? What's the risk? I was in the Army for 10 years and I moved every 2 years. So whenever I became a civilian, I maintained that same habit. And something that I always looked for was neighborhoods that I was expecting to go up in value, right? So 38 is no different. Whenever I purchased over here, it's like, what's the value going to do? Well, values on 38 only go up just consistently. They're going to go up whether you're purchasing a small condo, small house, a large house. The value is going to continue to rise. There's just no way that it doesn't, because let's think about it. We're not making more land, right? So we're running out of land, especially along the coast, you know, so everything's having to expand upward. We're seeing a lot more builds in the Santa Rosa Beach area and encroaching into Freeport, which is going to be up and coming. So 30A, if you can get into it, very great investment, whether you're wanting to live here full time or purchase to just visit, you know, whenever you want to and not have to pay somebody else to stay at their property. You can charge other people to stay at yours. And this really leads into my 5th pro about living on 30As. If you are intending to rent it out, whether now or later, maybe you want to live in it for now and then have the ability to rent it out later and move into something bigger. Who knows? But they're really great as far as rental potential. No matter what you purchase on 38, it is very likely going to rent out very well. It's the same kind of phenomenon as not having enough land. There aren't a ton of rentals. Well, let me take it back. There are a ton of rentals, but there are always people wanting more. I see it all the time in the Facebook groups. Folks are like, oh, you know, I got canceled over here. Does anyone have anything available? Or I forgot to book and now I'm last minute. Anyone have anything available that's not on the market? So we see it all the time. This area is so good for rentals. So if you're considering this only as, you know, an investment or solely from an investment perspective, this is a great area to short-term rent out a property or even long-term rent out a property sometimes. If you have any questions at all about anything that I've gone over so far, whether it's, you know, investment potential, what are the greatest neighborhoods to be in for, you know, whether living there full time or renting it out, go ahead and give me a call, text, email. I'm going to throw all of my contact information on the screen for you. Again, you can reach out whichever way is easiest for you. I tend to get back to people within 24 hours. So give me that 24 hours leeway just in case. And if you don't hear from me within 24 hours, then follow up with a text if you would, because sometimes emails go to spam. As much as we hate it, it happens, and that's not something I can control. So give me that grace. So let's move into the cons of living on 30A. I know I just gave you a ton of pros. You're like, what could suck about living on 30A? There's no way. Everything's amazing. Well, there are a couple of things that might be less than positive. So my first con of living on 30A is going to be traffic. If you've watched any of my videos, whether on the main channel or just my 30A channel, then you know that traffic is a big thing for me, especially when it comes to parking somewhere. I will absolutely flake on somebody if the parking situation is not ideal, or I'm thinking I'm going to have to park, or I'm going to have to fight for parking at a specific time at a specific venue. I'm going to feel sick that night. That's all there is to it. I cannot deal with that type of traffic. And so because we are such a touristy area, there are times when the traffic is a bit crazy. Now, I do have to caveat this. If you're coming from someplace like DC that gets actual traffic, you're going to get here and be like, AJ, I thought you said it was bad here. What is this? But for those of us that are here locally, we have a tendency to forget every year just how bad the traffic situation can get during peak season. And we're a little bit spoiled because our peak season traffic, while exponentially worse than our normal traffic, it's still not as bad as quite a few actual big cities. So maybe take everything that I'm saying as far as traffic with a spoiled grain of salt, if you will. Now, my second top con is going to be, I know this is going to sound bad, it's going to be tourism as a general, but just hear me out, especially if you're someone that likes to come out here and visit. I appreciate all of our tourism, really, because here in Florida, we don't have a state income tax, which is in large part due to the fact that we have so much tourism. So please keep coming. Like, we love it as much as, there are some things that, are a little bit less enjoyable due to having, a bunch of people in the area in general. Definitely don't take it as I hate tourism, because that's not the case at all. So please do keep coming to visit. But also, if you're going to live here or be here during the peak seasons, keep in mind that more people means slower movement, right? And that's in all regards. So whether it's traffic, or you're in the checkout line at the Publix, or you're trying to go to dinner, then, things are going to be a little bit slower. But the other side of that too is if you move into a neighborhood where short-term rentals are permitted, and you find out that your neighbors all short-term rent out their houses, and you're meeting them and you're thinking, oh my gosh, my neighbors are just amazing. I'm going to be best friends with so-and-so next door. And then they leave and they never come back, or they only come back once a year. That's kind of sad. You meet someone and you're like, this is awesome, and then you don't really see them anymore. So if you're going to live here full time, it's definitely something to keep in mind. If you are the type to want to meet your neighbors and be friends with them, you watch my house, I'll watch yours, when we go out of town kind of thing, there's a little bit of risk, falling for someone here, whether as a friend or romantically. My third top con for living on 30A, it's kind of going to be the flip-flop of one of our pros, and it's going to be the housing prices. So compared to pretty much the rest of our area here on the Panhandle, 30A is going to have the highest prices. But you get what you pay for, right? So you can have a legitimate slice of paradise here, but you're going to pay for it. So pretty much anywhere along 30A, you're going to pay pretty much premium dollar, right? Now, if you're kind of balling on a budget and you want a house and you're within a specific limit that really doesn't allow you to purchase along 30A, there are other options very close to the area where you can still be in very close proximity, still have that quick access to the beach, but maybe save yourself a couple $100,000. If you have any questions about that and what areas you should be considering, go ahead and give me a call, text, or email. My fourth top con for living on 30A is going to sound a little bit silly, but allergies. I know, you're thinking, what do you mean allergies? I'm moving to right next to the Gulf. This should wash away all my allergies. There should be no issues. I'm actually moving to the area to alleviate my allergy issues. And for a lot of people, that's the case. It just cleanses them, that salt water, that salt air, it just fixes everything up. But for some people, they've never experienced allergies before until they came to our area. So because we have this, warm and kind of moist climate, We have lots of shrubbery. We're talking, trees and grass and weeds, and that all lends itself to pollen and mold, some things that folks are really super allergic to. So you might not be expecting it, but when you come down here, if you're someone who suffers from those types of allergies, or even if you don't, it might come as a shock to you and your system's like, whoa, what is this? And all of a sudden you have the sniffles for a week. So if you're considering coming to our area, make sure that you come visit first, just so that you can know. You wouldn't want to plan this amazing relocation and be like, everything's going to be so great, and then allergies hit you and you're like, I hate my life. At least if you come visit for a week and you realize that you do have allergies, you can be like, okay, I need to plan for this. And while you're planning for that, also plan for the mosquitoes and the no-see-ums, because they like this climate as well. And no-see-ums are exactly what they sound like. They're little biting creatures that you can't see. Couple our mosquitoes and allergy stuff and no-see-ums with our alligators, and you might as well call Florida the US's version of Australia. But it's really not that bad. We do have these mosquitoes and biting creatures and such and allergies and what have you, but it's really not all that bad. It can just kind of surprise you if you're not expecting it. So now you know what to expect. So maybe you end up having to purchase some allergy medications or supplements, and maybe you bring some bug spray with you. If you're coming to visit the area, let me know. I'll get you a coffee. It'll make it all better. My fifth and final con for living on 38 might come as a bit of a surprise and maybe a little wonky, but there are no drive-through places to grab food along 38. None. Now, on the north side of 98, they did just put in a Burger King, so you have that option. But if you're like me and you're a very busy person, you're just super busy and you just need that quick drive-through option, you're not going to have one on 38. You're going to have to physically go inside, whether you're walking, driving, parking over at that spot. There are some quick options, but you're still going to have to physically get up, go inside, grab something, and then get back to work, whatever you were doing. But thankfully, DoorDash is a thing here. If you're not used to that, look it up. It's awesome. You can pretty much order whatever you want and have it delivered to you. So if you're like me and you work from home, you have a home office, and that's where you spend a bunch of your time just staring at the screen doing analysis in one form or fashion, then DoorDash is really amazing when you just don't have the time or energy to remove your focus from one thing to push it over to nutrition. And you don't have to be unhealthy with it. You can DoorDash something healthy. So, some great benefit there, even if you don't have a drive-through option. If you're still with me, then you must have found some type of beneficial content here. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me so that other folks can see, oh, this is a good video, and get some great information as well. And I will see you at the next one. Bye.